Hello and welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Chris, what would you like to discuss today?
Well, I thought we could look at maybe setting up roll stock and maybe how it calculates in an order.
Sure. That's a great topic. We have a couple of different ways that you can set up roll stock. You may want to set it up as roll-to-roll inventory, where you're keeping track of individual rolls with individual IDs and then the quantity that's on each roll. You see that a lot in Flexo shops mostly. You can also set up roll-to-roll inventory where you're just keeping track of the total quantity that you have in a roll.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if we could take a look at maybe the setup first.
Sure. All right, I'm going to come over here and get into inventory. And I'm going to come down to the material type and just select roll stock. And I have this roll material test category where I have 4 items. Let's start. I have 2 items as linear foot costing method, these 2 here. One is a non-roll-to-roll inventory and one is a roll-to-roll inventory. And then I did the same thing with a per hundredweight, so you could see the difference in how we set it up. So I've got a per hundredweight item that's not roll-to-roll and a per hundredweight item that is roll-to-roll. So let's start with the linear feet. This is set up similarly to any other material in that you have material code and description. You will put in the width of the roll, and then you'll also put in the average feet per roll. And then you'll select your costing method. This is in a per linear foot costing method, and then we have our price in a per linear foot price down here. Now I still, even though this is not roll-to-roll inventory, so in this example I'm keeping track of the inventory by how many linear feet I have in total. It could be over 5 rolls, 10 rolls, 100 rolls. I'm just going to know how many linear feet I have in total.
Okay.
But I still may want to buy it by the roll, and I can do that. Under the PO info button, I can say the purchase unit description is a roll. I'm doing per each roll, and I have 3,000 feet on a roll. Now with that set, and then under my pricing, for the PO unit cost, I can put in the cost for an entire roll. Setting it up this way lets me order it by roll, but sell it by linear feet and inventory it in just total linear feet.
Okay.
Okay? Now let's leave this one and go into our linear foot roll to roll, and we can look at the difference. In this one, it's set up the same width, the same average feet per roll. I'm using a costing method of linear foot, but now I'm using these check boxes up here to make it roll-to-roll inventory. So this first one is what denotes it to be roll-to-roll, which means I'm going to keep track and receive individual rolls. I also have an option to auto-receive the rolls. What that would mean is if I'm ordering, say, 5 rolls or 10 rolls, something other than 1, I can actually receive them all at once, and Enterprise will generate the roll IDs uniquely for me and create separate rolls in inventory.
Okay.
If I don't have that checked off, then I have to manually hit add and enter each roll individually when I do the receipt.
Okay.
Sure. And then this last checkbox is something you may want to check. Don't allocate a requisition by roll. What that would do is it gives you the ability to look at what you need for a job or requisition what you need for a job in linear feet rather than how many rolls. So you can do it either way.
Okay.
Sure. Now in this case, we're also using a newer feature. We have a feature here called a cost conversion where we can sell it in one costing method, like per linear foot, but put the price in or the cost in a different unit of measure. And this is what you might typically see in a Flexo shop, where you may want to put the cost in per MSI. So I have my cost in as 20 cents per MSI, but I'm going to inventory it on the rolls in linear foot. Okay?
Makes sense.
Great. All right, now let's take a look at per hundredweight. So I'm going to start with looking at the per hundredweight without roll-to-roll. So this is very similar. I've got my width in at 24. My costing method is per hundredweight. I have the same average feet per roll. And again, just like when I did this non-roll-to-roll for linear feet, I don't have anything checked here. Down here, I have my price in as the price per hundredweight. But now with per hundredweight material, I don't have to do a purchasing information. With per hundredweight, when you buy a roll, you always want to put in the quantity in pounds because Enterprise needs to know how many pounds are on a roll or how many pounds you're purchasing. And that's going to be always with per hundredweight, whether you're doing roll-to-roll inventory or whether you're doing non-roll-to-roll. Okay?
Sure.
So now let's take a look at how we set up the roll-to-roll for per hundredweight. So this is very similar. We've got our width, we've got our per hundredweight costing method, we have our $50 per 100 pounds for cost, but then we have the roll to roll checked off, which will let us keep track of individual rolls. I'm not going to use the auto receive rolls because, as I just explained, we cannot order this in number of rolls. We have to put in how many pounds, and if we need to tell Enterprise how many pounds are on each roll, we have to receive each roll individually.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
And then the last one, don't auto requisition by roll, will give us that option to see how many pounds we need for a job as opposed to how many rolls. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Maybe can we go into estimating and just kind of see how the calculation would appear with some of these?
Sure. I have a test job set up with all 4 rolls so we can compare the difference.
Very good. Okay.
Okay. So let's go into estimating order entry. And I've got a roll test order here. I'm going to edit this order. Now I simply just did it as a sheet fed job with a quantity of 1,000, but I'm going to use a roll stock. I'm doing like a banner here that's 24 by 48, and I brought in all 4 rolls just so we can see the difference. So here's my per hundredweight roll that's not roll to roll. I have my per hundredweight that is roll to roll. Looks very similar in the setup here, but we'll see the difference when we go to order it. Same thing with linear feet. I have my not roll to roll stock here, and my price here is my price in per linear feet. And when I expand it, you can see that 6 cents is actually a rounded number. It's really 0.0576. And then I have my linear foot that is roll to roll, and that one has a different price. It's actually 20 cents, but we know that this is a per MSI price because that's the costing method I'm doing. Now when I hit the calculate button on this, we can see that it still calculates the same for both. So here, when I use per hundredweight, I'm going to see this in number of sheets, and then it's figuring out the price based on the hundredweight. Here I'm seeing that I need 4,000 linear feet in both cases, and even though the price is in differently, one is in per linear foot, one is in per MSI, it calculates the same. If I go to do the analysis on this, you'll see how it allocates it. Instead of allocating a number of rolls, I'm seeing how many pounds I need in the per hundredweight situations, and for the linear foot, I'm seeing how many linear feet I need. And again, if we print the analysis, we'll see those same calculations here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
so we'll come out of here.
Perfect. And I guess maybe one more thing. Could we create a purchase order and just see how it's going to look to the PO agent, how they're going to buy
Sure.
these different items?
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll take a look at the receipt too.
Sure. Okay.
So let me close out of here. We'll go into purchasing. We'll add a new purchase order, and I'll click add, and I'll add my roll paper. And let's select the first item. So we'll select our linear foot not roll to roll first. Now in here, I had set this up, if you remember, under the PO info button, where I'm still going to order this in number of rolls. So say I want to order 2 rolls. It knows that each roll is $172.80 each, so it does the math and calculates the cost at $345.60. Now I can do the same thing with my roll to roll inventory. So we'll select the linear foot that is roll to roll. And again, the cost now is going to come in per MSI, but Enterprise knows how many square inches are a roll by the width and the length. And I can again enter my number of rolls, and it's going to calculate the same cost down here. Now one advantage to doing the roll to roll with per MSI, and especially for Flexo, is I can change the width there if I want to order something that's not the 24-inch width that I have my material set up, but maybe I want to order a 5-inch width or a 15-inch width, and it will calculate the price accordingly.
Sure.
Let me add my per hundredweight. That's not roll to roll first. And again, here I'll put in how many pounds I want to order. Maybe I want to order 500 pounds. and it will calculate it based off of $50 per 100 pounds. Same thing if I order it as a roll-to-roll item. Again, I'll order 500 pounds, calculates the same. All right, let me select a PO agent here. We'll save this, and we'll go ahead and receive this purchase order. So we'll start by receiving the linear foot not roll to roll. When I hit add to add the receipt here, it's going to bring in that I'm receiving 2 rolls at a cost of $172.80. I click OK, and it's going to receive those rolls. Now if I go back to inventory for a minute here, and I go to roll stock and find that item, you'll see that it brought in 6,000 linear feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it knew there were 3,000 on each. I bought 2, so we have 6,000 linear feet.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good.
Let's go back to purchasing. We'll order our roll-to-roll inventory. So I can click on add. Now I can receive these individually if I want, but because I've had that auto receive turned on, I can leave it at a quantity of 2 rolls. It's going to make the first roll ID the number of the PO, and then an incremental number at the end. I'll just hit OK here and let it receive both rolls. It'll ask me if I want another one. I'm going to say no because it already received the 2. But you know, of course, if you receive more than what you ordered, you can add more in.
Sure.
Now if I go back over to inventory and I look at my roll to roll, I see I have 2 rolls. And now I can see the quantity here is going to be in the costing method that I have it in linear feet. So I'm going to see in the quantity field the amount of linear feet on each roll.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go back over to purchasing, and now we'll go to our hundredweight. I'm going to click add to receive the one that's not roll to roll. It's going to bring in how many pounds I'm receiving, and again I can change it if it's different. And I'll click OK here. And let's receive the second one as well, and then we'll go over to inventory. I'm going to click add here. Now this is my roll-to-roll inventory, but with per hundredweight inventory, I have to tell it individually how many pounds are on each roll. So say I'm receiving 2 rolls at 250 pounds each. I'm going to put in 250 pounds, and it's going to create a roll ID with that 250 pounds. Because it's in pounds and not in number of rolls, it's 1 at a time. So I'm going to click OK here. It asks me if I want to receive another roll. I'll say yes. It automatically puts the difference of 250 in that quantity received, and I can just hit OK again and receive the second roll. And I'm going to say no. Now when I go back over to inventory, if I look at my per hundredweight that's not roll to roll, or excuse me, that is roll to roll, I see my 2 rolls here at the weight of each roll. If I look at the one that's not roll to roll, I'm just looking at the total weight, one record with the total weight.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Do you have any questions?
No, I think that's good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Please look forward for more to come.